Yeah, right. This might be a bit long. While I was still working, before I had the heart trouble that ended my 40-year truck driving career, I moved to X33 Rainbow Road at Moor Farm Park, Calverton Notts, outside Nottingham. There were a large number of caravans on the site and chalets and lakes with wildfowl, ducks, Canadian geese, coots, and the family used to like to come to visit. The kids come go and see Grandad and feed the ducks. Well, the caravan, of course, I got Idle Andrew living with me. That was before he pulled himself together and went into computers. And I had the bed at the end of the caravan. He slept on the bench seats at the front. He wanted the bed. I said, no, it's my caravan. It's in my name. I use a bedroom. You get down or clear off and find yourself a job, you idle bastard. So at the end of the caravan outside it was walked because there was a vacant site, and I was told the vacant site was a chalet that burnt down. The man came home from the pub drunk, put the chip pan on and fell asleep, and the chalet burnt to the ground. He was killed and his mother was seriously burned and ended up in hospital and then a nursing home. So I would say he was probably a troubled spirit, and that's when the trouble started. I could write a book about it, working from memory, as I have this excellent long-term memory. The family liked to come to visit me. The kids wanted to feed the ducks. For the particular time of the year, they'd all got young, little tiny ducklings, and it was delightful. The kids loved it. And my ex-wife came over with her second son Richie and my grandkids, and we sat talking about the happenings in that caravan, of which there were many. And Richie suddenly went white-faced. His mother said, "What's the matter, Richie?" And he said, I spoke to him about this recently. In the kitchen he watched the tea caddy slide on its own up to the edge, and it dropped on the floor, scattering tea bags everywhere. He said, "I saw it off. It just moved on its own up to the edge and then dropped on the floor, scattering tea bags everywhere." And oh dear, let me get organised. I should have wrote this down. Andrew at first was very sceptical until I was doing day work, and after I went to work in the morning he used to jump in my double bed, of course, and then he'd go his own car and he'd sleep until about midday. And one morning he felt the caravan move, because when people walk in these caravans you get the movement, don't you? And he thought, oh, Dad's come back, I wonder why. And next minute a man appeared at the side of his bed, a big man wearing a white t-shirt. Andrew looked at him and he thought, what the hell's he doing in here? And the man just faded away. One minute he was here, next minute he'd gone. And I got home that night. He says, I might have to change my views, Dad, after what I saw this morning. And I have put on this site, haven't I, about the oh yeah, I bought those Svenhauser headphones. At that time I paid £100 for them, and they were good headphones. We'd been down to London, and I laid on the bed listening to Tangerine Dream, and the wall was right at the side of me. I got the headphones on, I thought, great sound, and next minute a big white orb appeared in front of me, and pop, the sound went off in one channel. So I sent them back to Svenhauser. I said I had just bought them, and they said a diaphragm had bust. I thought, well, they were brand new. Then my daughter Anne wanted me to put on cassette at that time the music of the Irish singer Enya, who I think is great, but she don't often release many recordings. And I compiled this tape, the best of Enya. And this particular Sunday morning we had a bit of breakfast and we were ready to leave, and I put I'd made the bed, straightened it out, and put the cassette in the middle of the bed. And I went to get the cassette and it weren't there. I fetched Andrew in. I said, Andrew, I put it in the middle of the bed. He says, I ain't got the bloody thing. He said, I can't stand Enya. I said, well, where's it gone? That took me some time to do that. He says, never mind, leave it. So we got in the car and I said, no, I'm going to go back and have another look. It can't have just disappeared. It was in the middle of the bed. And I went back in the caravan and there it was in the middle of the bed. I said, Andrew, come in here. He said, what now? I said, come in here. And he came in. I said, he'd already been in and seen the bed with nothing there. And he came in. I said, there's a cassette, look. He says, let's get out of here, Dad. Well, we persevered. He got a job. I thought, thank God for that. And he had to be down the city centre this Sunday morning at 6:30. So I set my alarm clock in the bedroom for 4:45. I thought that'd give me time to do some breakfast for us before I run him down to the city centre of Nottingham. And the clock went off and woke me up at 4:45. And I lit a cigarette and laid there, and all of a sudden Andrew at the front of the caravan shouted, Dad, quick, it's nearly it's 5:45. I said, no, it's 5:45. My alarm clock and my wristwatch said 5:45. Andrew said, no, it's 5:45. So I went in the lounge area, and the digital clock on the hi-fi and the wall clock both said 5:45. They both advanced forward 1 hour overnight. Well, we hadn't got mobile phones then, so Andrew got dressed quick and he ran up the reception area where there was a telephone. He phoned the operator. By the time he got back, he said it's 5:45. Those two clocks, the digital tuner and the wall clock, both went forward 1 hour overnight. I thought, what's happening here? And I was doing day work then, and I took Andrew down the city centre and said, you know, all the best, cheers. And Wednesday night I got home and there he sat watching the telly. And I said, what happened? Oh, couldn't stand it, you know, a load of wankers. And he just sat there gazing at the telly, and I sat there thinking, I thought, what am I going to do with him? If something really bad happens in here, he might get scared and move out. And all of a sudden he panicked. He said, Dad, the caravan's moving from side to side. And it wasn't. He said, Dad, and he panicked really bad. He says, the caravan's rocking from side. I said, it's not. And I thought in my mind, no, I can't allow this to happen. And it stopped. So as I have said repeatedly, spirit reads your mind. And that guy that was in there read my mind, and as soon as I thought, no, I can't allow this to happen, it stopped. I spoke to Andrew about this recently, and he said, well, it felt to him as though the caravan was moving from side to side, and it wasn't. No. My neighbour, he had the same surname as me, and the incompetent postman kept mixing the mail up. So I went round one night. He was X34, I think. I was X33. And I said, the postman's left me your letter again, mate. I says, have you noticed anything spooky in here? He says, oh yeah. He says, one night he was in bed, you know, in the bedroom at the end of the caravan, peacefully asleep, and the quilt was whipped off his bed, ended up in the corner of the room. I said, well, what do you think about that? He says, well, I put it down to my father, who passed away recently. Yeah, nah, what else happened? Oh, a lot, but I don't want the video to go on too long. And to cut a long story short, in the end I contacted a medium. He said it's an energy source, a flow of energy. Get 4 pieces of gypsum rock and put them in each corner of the caravan. It will divert that energy. Well, I just asked him at reception. I said, I want to get out of there. And they gave me a chalet a bit further on down the side in front of one of the lakes. And that was it. I moved out to that caravan. So that's a brief history of that Caravan at Calverton, and as I said, I would think the spirit of that bloke who was burnt to death, and he responsible for his mother being seriously burned, I think he was still around there. He was an unhappy spirit. So that's all I can say about it, and the video's gone on for long enough anyway, so I'm going. Yeah, it's Saturday morning, I've got to go out. Right, cheers, bye.